Well, here's my week 4 prediction video, or more of basically my reasoning behind my prediction video. If you saw my other prediction video for this week, you know I've made some interesting picks that some might say are questionable, but here's why I think that. So, starting off with the Thursday Night Football, you have the Seahawks and the Cardinals. Seattle. First off, we all know if you saw it, Seattle. I have Seattle winning this game. Why? The Cardinals are not impressing me. They're not. Seattle is. I think Seattle's going to win the division. Maybe the Rams. Maybe. And the way they were playing against the Eagles, they could very well win the division too, I would say. But I think Seattle's going to win the division. Or at least come very close, like they were last year. San Francisco is not going to be a threat. But we'll get into that. The Seahawks. If you know, I have them at number 9 in my power rankings. I think they're a really good team. The Cardinals, they're also 2-1. They finally had their first loss this week against the 49ers. I thought they were better than they were. If they played well against the 49ers, I probably would pick them. However, they're not. They're not going to win. So, the Cardinals just aren't playing well. Number 1, you got James Conner. That's the biggest headline coming out of that game. He's injured. Out for the season, it looks like. The Seahawks are an inspiring team that is starting to make some progress. I think they have the right quarterback, and the O-line's starting to block, unlike week 1. If the O-line blocked all season, they would be 3-0 right now. But Seattle, they're just the better team in my opinion. I don't see the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are going to keep it somewhat close because it is a division game, but Seattle's going to win. Moving on, Minnesota against Pittsburgh. First international game of the year in Ireland. First time ever being in Ireland, ever. I have the Vikings winning. Simply because they impressed me more than the Pittsburgh has. Yeah, did the Steelers impress me week 1? Yes. However, they failed in week 2 to even make it really a close game because Seattle blew it open towards the end. And then underwhelming against then also very underwhelming against the Patriots. They still won, like I predicted, but it wasn't they didn't look good. The defense looked okay, but that might just be because their offense is still trying to get going, the Patriots. So, Pittsburgh won the game. They're both 2-1. I think Minnesota, like Seattle, is the better team. They're the more complete team, I think. And no, Pittsburgh's the better team. They have a better defense. No. Not after what we saw last week with the Vikings-Bengals. Minnesota has the better defense. And it's led partially by the former Eagle, Isaiah Rodgers. Yeah. Pittsburgh, I think they're going to go 2-2. Minnesota's going to go 3-1. We'll see what Carson Wentz can continue to do in Minnesota. So yeah. Now we get our first 11 o'clock game. And the first big prediction that I have that you saw. Commanders, Falcons. I have the Falcons winning. Why? How do you have this win? How do I have this? They're mad, okay? They're angry. They do not like what they saw week 3 against the Panthers. They got shut out by a team that has not looked good, and all of a sudden just showed up. And I think they are here to stay. But the Falcons, I still think, are a good team. The Commanders also impressed me against the Raiders. And yeah. But I think the Falcons have more to play for. Because team people are beginning to write off Atlanta after that game. Oh, Atlanta's not that good. Atlanta's not that good. I think they're going to prove to people that they can still compete. And that's why they're going to win. It's going to be a close game. I don't remember the exact score I had. But it's going to be a close game. Okay? No matter what the score I had, it's going to be a close game. And Atlanta is going to win. They're going to win. So, Washington, I still think is a good team too. I just think they're going to kind of disappoint, similar to how Atlanta disappointed last week. They're going to make sure that that does not happen, that they do not get blown out. And even if they lose, it's going to be a close game. They're going to make sure of it. So, I think Atlanta and Washington are on the same level. That's just my opinion. Especially with Jane Daniels. With Marcus Mariota, that's his name. With Marcus Mariota, we don't know how good Washington's going to be. If we see what we saw last game, then yeah, they're probably going to look. They may look better. I don't know. But right now, I think Atlanta has more to prove and has more they want to win. So, Saints, Bills. This game, for my prediction, I remember it well because I got a lot of comments on that video saying, what? I'm here basically to say that that score is not what I think is going to happen. Really. I don't know what I was thinking putting 22-25. I really don't know why I did that. Bills are going to win, and they're going to dominate, just like Seattle did. Saints suck. They're an awful team. And the Bills are a better team. Bills are going 4-0. We're not going to talk much about this game. Alright, and if the game ends up being close, then ignore what I just said. But that's not going to happen. Bills are going to dominate. So, yeah. Basically, ignore the prediction, the score prediction of that game. I don't know why I was putting that one. This game. This is another one. Browns-Lions. It's like, how did the Browns scoring this many points? I think the Browns' offense is going to catch up to their defense. However, I also made that score before I saw what the Lions did to the Ravens. Should I have changed it? Probably. But I still think it's going to be somewhat of a close game. That Detroit will win. I think they'll win by probably close to 2 scores. I think the Lions will. Okay. The Browns, they're still struggling. They've got a great defense. They do. But their offense is still very lackluster. And I think their offense will eventually catch up. Maybe when Deshaun Watson gets back, but I don't know. I don't know if I got a feeling his career is over, in my opinion. But the Lions are going to win. So, that's what I have. Probably a 7-point game. Probably going to be... if it's a blowout, it's going to be like a 20-point game. But if it's a close game, probably around a 7-point game. Now, whoa, this one got a lot of people. Like, huh? What? Titans at Texans. This is one that I went back and forth on, and the score reflects that. I went back and forth with this game. Simply because Houston's got a great defense as much as the Browns do. However, they're 0-3. Why? Why is that? Oh, they played stiff competition. Okay, let's look at their competition. They have played Week 1, they played the Rams. Pretty good team. They were. And I honestly need to give them more credit than I have. The Rams are a good team, and I'll show that later. But then they played the Buccaneers. So already 2 pretty good teams. Then this week. Oh, this week. This week's the one that drew the line for me. See, if they played a tough team this week, I would probably give them the win. But they played the Jaguars. Yeah, they're 2-1. But the Jaguars have looked shaky. And there were so many opportunities Houston had, and they blew it. Is Stroud a bust? It might be too early to say that. I did say this year and next year will be a defining year for CJ Stroud, and I still believe that. But right now, the trend line is not going in the right direction for Houston. Tennessee, it's moving in the right direction. They are. Yes, they have a rookie quarterback, Cam Ward, but he looks better in the pocket than Stroud does. And that is the defining factor I have, and why I have the Titans winning. He looks better. Stroud doesn't. He does not. He looks awful. He looks like Caleb Williams in his first year. Not the Caleb Williams we saw last week, this last week, but the Caleb Williams that we've seen the rest of his career. He doesn't even look like Caleb Williams. He just can't hack it. Like he's not doing it. He's not playing well. Now, is the Titans D-line gonna provide as much pressure? Maybe, maybe not. But I don't think it's gonna matter. You can argue the Jaguars are a good team. And I would argue, yeah, they are kind of a good team. However, they gave Houston way too many opportunities. They didn't look good against Houston, and they still won. Houston. This is a game they should have won. They should be 1-2 right now. They're not. If they beat the Jaguars, I would wholeheartedly say Houston is going to beat the Titans. But they're not. They're 0-3, and they have not looked great. Tennessee, they played the Broncos. The jury's still out on the Broncos and how they're going to go this season. The Rams, really good team. Then the Colts, really good team. So, at the time, Denver was a good team too. And I think they still are. And that's the difference. Tennessee has played real competition, and unlike last week, they look okay. And Tennessee's defense has looked okay. They look good against the Broncos, but we still don't know about that. Rams, not really. Colts, not really. Yeah. So we'll see. But Houston is not a good team. And I got a feeling that the Titans offense is going to get going more than the Texans defense. The Texans offense will. The Texans defense is going to be, I think, the defining factor. They have a better, yes, Houston's got a better defense. They do. But I think when you just have a bad O-line and a bad quarterback, it doesn't matter how great. Just ask the Browns. They're 1-2. They've got a crazy upset win. And maybe they'll finally get a win this week, but I don't think so. I think this experiment's not going to work. then I think they need to have a better O-line. And then we'll see how Stroud looks. So they need to build an O-line this draft and this year. But that's my opinion. Moving on. This is another one. The Panthers at the Patriots. The Panthers are going to ride the momentum that they had last week. You see, at the beginning of the year, I thought Carolina looked like how we saw them in that second half against the Cardinals and against the Falcons. I think the Panthers are that good. Probably just ran into a little bit of a bump the first couple of weeks. But they're playing against a weaker Patriots team. And that's why, yes, they're on the road. But that's why I have Carolina winning. I think they can win. They can. It's going to be another close game. It's going to be another dogfight. But I think the Panthers will come out on top here. I think they can. I think they will. They're playing a team like the Lions or the Bills. No. They're not that good. But the Panthers, they're playing the Patriots. That's a team that's still also trying to find its footing. Yeah, I got to win against the weak Dolphins, but they've lost to the Steelers, who gave them a lot of opportunities, and they lost to the Raiders, a team that also hasn't looked great since that loss. So, I think Carolina is going to take advantage, and they're going to win. Now, Chargers, Giants. The Russell Wilson era is over. That's great, because he's awful, and his career's over. I got a feeling he's gonna sign like a one-day deal with Seattle and retire as a Seahawk. That's his future. He's done. He's done. Maybe he can go to Minnesota, and maybe somehow his career will be revived, like Sam Darnold's career was. Or he could go to San Francisco and look okay, decent there. But he tried New York, and Daboll has done pretty good with developing quarterbacks. Kind of. So, yeah. Jackson Dart, we'll see. We'll see what happens with Jackson Dart. However, he's not going to look good against the Chargers defense. This Chargers team is too good, and they're going to dominate. Chargers win. Chargers win easily. Eagles, Buccaneers. This is another game that could go either way. The Eagles, 3-0. Buccaneers, 3-0. The Buccaneers are a good team. They're a very good team. And I should have put them in my power rankings last video. However, the Eagles have played Tampa too much. And we've lost to them too much. Not this time. It's impossible right now to pick against the Eagles. Especially after last week. Alright? The Eagles, and as an Eagles fan, I'm loving this, are the best team in the league. Let's be honest. They are the best team in the league. They're the most unpredictable team in the league. You don't know what's going to happen. But you do know they're going to win. Even if they look awful, they're still going to find a way to win. Because that is what good teams do. And Philadelphia is, in my opinion, right now, through 3 weeks, you can argue maybe the Colts or the Chargers, but I think the Eagles are the best team in the league right now. Tampa Bay, getting close. But right now, Philadelphia is still a better team. And we've had some history with Tampa Bay. They put us out 3 years ago, 4 years ago with Tom Brady in 2021. They put us out in 2023 2 years ago. They beat us last season in week 4. But anyhow, it always seems to play in week 3 or 4. And I think if we played them in the playoffs last year, we would have won. We unfortunately didn't. But I think we would have won either way. The Eagles, we're the hottest team. You can argue no, the Colts are. You can argue that. But the Eagles are the luckiest team and the best team. They are. And that's my opinion. The Colts and the Rams. Starting into the afternoon games. The Colts. Oh, the Colts. 3-0. Indiana Jones. Like, where was this? All of a sudden, he's back. Alright, he's looking better than the Daniel Jones we saw in 2022 when they made the playoffs and won a playoff game. He's looking better than that Daniel Jones. And like the Eagles, it is right now for me impossible to pick against this Colts team. I think they're going to win. They're playing against the Rams, who is their first, I think, real test. The Broncos might not even been a test, because for all we know, Denver might actually suck as well. So the Rams are the first real test for the Colts, not the Broncos. But I think the Rams will win, similar to I think the Colts will win, similar to the Eagles, because it's right now, in my opinion, not a good idea to pick against the Colts. Right now. If they lose this game, then maybe. Same with the Eagles. But the Colts are maybe not the better team, but they've just looked incredible. So I think the Rams aren't going to stand a chance. You can argue, oh, they're mad. They're going to get back at their next team because of how bad, because of that crazy loss against the Eagles. That might be true and that might happen, but right now I think the Colts maybe aren't the better team, but are looking like it at the moment. So, we'll see. But I think the Colts will win. But that's a game that can go either way. Now, Jaguars at 49ers. Talk about the luckiest team in the league. And the most beat-up team in the league. The 49ers, they're losing guys left and right. Even Mac Jones is banged up now. George Kittle, gone. Brandon Ayuk, gone. Nick Bosa, gone. Juwan Jennings, gone. Well, I don't know about gone right now. We'll see. And then same with Brandon Ayuk. I think he's still recovering from his injury last year. Brock Purdy. Who knows when he's going to show up again? Who knows when he's going to be back? You got Mac Jones, who his backup is banged up. Who's their third stringer? I don't know. And I don't know if Mac Jones is going to play. I don't know. The Jaguars. However, the 49ers will still find a way to win this game. This isn't going to last. And this 4-0 run isn't gonna last. It's not. They're going to go 4-0. I don't know who they play week 5. If they play anyone. But the Jaguars are a worse team. And like the Cardinals, it's going to be a battle. And the 49ers are probably going to barely squeak by. Just like they did against the Cardinals. That's what's going to happen. That's my prediction. Moving on. Now, the Ravens-Chiefs. This is a prediction that I would have gotten back. Now, I still think Baltimore is going to win. However, the score I had isn't going to happen. Alright? Another reason, I don't know why I had Ravens 28-10. Alright? No. Okay? I think the Ravens will win, but I think it's going to be a very close game. The Chiefs don't look great. The Ravens have played stiff competition. The Chiefs haven't. Chiefs have played the Chargers. Yeah. Then they played the Eagles. Yeah. But they played the Giants. They won, but they didn't look great. They could have very easily gone 0-3. The problem is the Giants are a worse team. But they didn't look good against the Giants. The Giants. They had flashes of when they were good. But they weren't good the whole game. And that's what I was looking for. They're not. They're not a good team. The Ravens are also 1-2. They beat the Browns but lost to the Bills and Lions. However, they actually put up a fight in those games. And that's why they are going to win. The Ravens are a better team. They are. Alright, the Chiefs, I don't know. Probably isn't even going to make the playoffs. They're probably not. But the Ravens, they are a better team. And they are going to win. They're not going to go 1-3. Of course, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs don't want to go 1-3. But they're going to. Just because of who they played and how they've looked. They don't look good. At all. Moving on. Bears, Raiders. I don't know. Ben Johnson, before the game. We are playing harder in practice. That was translated on the field. Or so it was. CeeDee Lamb was out for the Cowboys. The big three, they've lost 2 of the big 3. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons. Those are the big 3 in my mind for the Cowboys. 2 of those are gone. CeeDee Lamb is hurt, and Micah Parsons has been traded. It's just Dak, and he can't handle this on his own. That's why the Bears won. However, I don't actually remember who I had in this game. I actually don't remember. Hang on. Let me check. Let me check. Because I actually don't remember. Yeah. Alright. Okay, so I had the Bears. Okay. Not gonna be the score I predicted though. This is gonna be a dogfight of a game. The Bears, I think, are the better team. I think they are. The Raiders haven't impressed me. They impressed me week 1, and that's it. Now, I've been saying this, and I haven't said it in a while, because I was kind of waiting to see how Ashton Dungey was going to be. But I've been saying this since the draft video. I think he's going to be a bust. And has he really blown me away? No, he has not. He has not. He has had flashes of what he's looked like and what he looked like in college. Alright, he's shown flashes of that. Especially in the preseason. But he has shown flashes. However, He hasn't consistently done that. And that is why I am going to continue to say this until I actually see a big game from him. Ashton Jeanty is going to be a bust. He's going to be a bust. The Bears. Is Caleb Williams a bust? I don't know. I have no clue. I would say give me probably like give him like 6 or 7, give him like 3 or 4 more games. If he plays like that, like last week and all those games, he might actually not be a bust. So I think the Bears are going to win, but it's going to be a dogfight. Moving on. Sunday Night Football, Packers at Cowboys. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, Dallas, you don't stand a chance now. Micah Parsons is going to run all over you. He's going to sack you. Probably 100 times. It's over. For the Cowboys. The season is over. You're going 1-3. You suck. You've struggled against the Giants and barely won. The Giants. You're done. And this is your nail in the coffin. It's over. That's all you need to hear. Packers win. Packers dominate. That's it. The first of 2. You thought they learned with in week 2 when they had the games going on, one right after the other, one at 5, one at 5, one at 8 Mountain Standard Time. You thought, but they didn't, because now we got one at 5 and one at 6 Mountain Standard Time, 7 or 8 Eastern Standard Time. And first off, why is this game? Why? Why is this first game here? I got the game after that. But why is this game here? Jets, Dolphins. 0-3 versus 0-3. Was this supposed to be a good game? Maybe. But this is one of those times where you wish that they move games over. The Eagles-Buccaneers is a better game. I get putting Packers-Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. I would love to see that for prime time. That is awesome. Alright. The Bengals-Broncos. Also a game. This is interesting. Put the Eagles-Buccaneers. Move the slot. Move them over. Stop putting them at 11 o'clock. These two teams are better. And the Rams, too. Same thing. When it was Eagles-Rams last week. They're better. This is a better game. Put them up. Put that as one of Monday Night Football games. Because you know that game's going to be good. This game is going to be trash. Alright? Jets win. And Jets dominate. The Dolphins don't look good. The best game, what? Was against the Patriots? The Patriots. That was their best game. They looked decent against the Bills. But the Bills are the Bills. They got obliterated by the Colts, who are also a good team. But they lost to the Patriots. And they had opportunities to win. They suck. The Jets, on the other hand, have had multiple opportunities to win, and they also lose. Okay? However, The Jets have played better competition. They played the Steelers and barely lost. They got blown out by the Bills. And then they almost beat the Buccaneers. They're going to win, and they're going to dominate. The Jets are a better team, and this is their moment. This game right here. This game is their moment, is the Jets' moment. They're going to put up probably 40 on the Colts, on the Dolphins. That is what's going to happen. Moving on. I don't know what the score I predicted, like 24-21. It's not going to be that. I can promise you that. It's going to be a domination game. Bengals, Broncos. Final game here. Bengals, Broncos. Great game when the schedule makers came up with it. It still is. You don't know how good Denver's going to be. And the Bengals are without Joe Burrow. For that reason alone, Denver's going to win. Jake Browning looked awful against the Vikings. The Vikings put up almost 50 points on the Bengals to hand them their first loss of the season. The Broncos, their 2 losses, have come from game-ending field goals. And for once, they're going to have the upper hand, which they've had the upper hand in those games, and they blow them. Except for the Chargers game, but the Colts game, they had the upper hand. And they blow them. They had the game. They had the Chargers game, too. For that reason, the Broncos are going to win. They're going to. The Bengals aren't a good team without Joe Burrow. And the Broncos have more to play for. Bengals already know their season is slowly coming to an end, and Denver cannot go 1-3. Especially with all the hype they had this season. They cannot go 1-3. So, with that out of the way, that is my week 4 predictions. Predictions. Yeah. Life with retainers is fun. It's very fun. But anyway. So, that's it. I have 2 other channels, Southwest Gamer and Legos Models. I do Legos on Legos Models, and then Southwest Gamer, I do like Retro Bowl, Madden, Retro Bowl College, Hoopland games. So basically like sport games. On Southwest Gamer. Thank you for 200 subscribers. I did not expect to get this much. I'm not even going to say blow up, but this feels like a blow up for me personally, because I think this is the biggest. I mean, even with Southwest Gamer, I mean those blow ups are huge, but not nearly as much as this whole month. Let's see if we can keep this energy going into the next season. Into the next month and into the rest of the football season. But yeah, thank you for 200 subscribers. The way we're going, probably gonna hit 1,000 by the end of the season. That's great. So yeah. But make sure you guys like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.